In this video, I'm going to show you how you can do a complex within subjects ANOVA in the form of a linear mixed effects model in R. We're going to need a few different packages to do this. We're going to have Read Excel. I've got an Excel spreadsheet and example, which you can find below the video. Estimated marginal means package to do some post-hoc tests. SJ-stats to produce our partial letter squared effect size. And then the key one really is LME4, which produces our linear mixed effects model. And LME test. And LME test basically gives us p-values from this. So if you haven't installed them, you'll need to do so. We do need to pull these out of our library. Then I'll turn off scientific notation so we get exact p-values. So this is the data set. As you know, you can find it below the video. We've got, it's called complex WS. I'm going to read it and I'm going to call it alcohol prime 2. So let's run that and let's look at the data set. So we've got 4 variables. First variable here is sub. This is just the way I've labeled the participants. Because this is repeated measures data or within subjects data, our participants are exposed to all possible combinations of our independent variable. So they appear, in this case, 6 times because there's 6 different independent variable condition combinations they can appear under. So subject number 1, number 2, number 3, and so on. And then we've got the 2 IVs. We've got drink type, whether they've consumed alcohol, whether they consumed a placebo drink or control drink. And then we've got picture type. And basically in the study, participants are exposed to 2 different pictures on the screen at the same time. An alcohol-related picture, it's a picture of beer or something like that, and a control picture, for example, a glass of lemonade. And then we've got gaze, and this is how long they fixated on the 2 different picture types. So this participant in the alcohol condition, which is condition 1, looked at the alcohol picture, which is picture 1, for 758.22 milliseconds. And we've got them under all possible conditions. I'll show you this a bit more clearly, because first we'll just label our conditions. So we're just making it clear it's a factor and giving it nice clear labels. So we've got alcohol prime data set. Our variable drink levels were 1, 2, and 3, and I've labeled them as alcohol, placebo, and control. And for picture type, levels were 1 and 2, and then labeled alcohol and control. And we're going to run then, you can see the data set now completed. So for participant number 2, let's look at line 10. So here we've got, this is the placebo drink. So they consumed the placebo drink and how long they looked at the control pictures for on average. And it was 785.45 milliseconds. And the idea is basically that when we give people alcohol prime, you should fixate on alcohol-related imagery more because they've been primed by the alcoholic drink to seek out more alcohol. Just going to attach that data to make my life a little bit easier later on. And we can have a look at our summary of our data sets. We've got subject, we've got drink, picture type, and our gaze there. So to set this up, it's like we do with any regression, is we're going to create an object and we call drink effect 2. We've got our LME, it's not an LM, it's LME because we've got random effects in it. So we do our LME and our dependent variables gaze, how long we looked at the imagery for, and then picked by tilde, and then our 2 independent variables, drink type by picture type. So if I ask for the interaction, I write it as an interaction, it'll still give me main effects as well. And then I need to put some random effects on this model as well. So you may be familiar with this one if you watched the previous video. So after this line here, we've got sub. So this is the random intercept. So I'm putting a random intercept on for each of my participants. Now, I've also got this in front of that line, which is a random slope for the 2 independent variables. Or to be more specific, it's a random slope for the main effects of each independent variable. So drink and picture type. So I'm putting a random slope on for those as well. So if I run that, I can run my model, and then I can still ask for my output as an ANOVA. So for ANOVA output, and what do I get? I get my main effect of drink, which is non-significant, and the overall effect of drink, which is how long we're looking at the pictures, regardless of what picture type it is. Hardly surprising. You do have a main effect of picture type, so looking at one picture type more than they are another picture type. So one of the pictures, they're generally looking at it regardless of what they drank, they look at one more. And critically, we've got a significant interaction between our 2 independent variables. So the 2 independent variables are working together to influence our dependent variable in some way. The ANOVA has told us the 2 variables work together, it hasn't told us how. we need to do some post-hoc testing to find that out, which I'll come on to in one moment. Of course, we should also report our effect size. So we can do this. There's several different ways you can do it in different types, but the effect size package will give us our eta squared. So we just ask for our drink F2, and then we ask for partial equals true, so it gives us our partial eta squared. So there we go. Here's our 3 partial eta squareds. There for our main effective drink, our main effective picture type, and our interaction between the two. There's a possibility you may want to do post-hocs for main effects. You'll get a warning if you do this because there's an interaction in the model. So there's a little warning that R is going to give you, but just to show you how you could do it, we can just ask for estimated marginal means for drink F2 for our model, pairwise comparisons by picture type. So this is doing our post-hoc comparisons for picture type. It's not really necessary, this at all. The reason being, we've only got 2 levels to picture type, so we know there's a significant difference anyway. However, I suppose if you really want to, you can see the estimated marginal mean here, and you can see gauge dwell times generally longer on the alcohol compared to the control pictures, but the p-value and so on is not particularly interesting because we know they're significantly different. If you want to do post-hoc tests for the main effective drink, it would look like that. Of course, we wouldn't because we didn't get a main effective drink, so we've got no statistical justification for doing so. Or we just do as we did for picture type. Estimated marginal means for the model, pairwise comparisons for the drink type. So you run that, you get that little warning about misleading results due to interactions. You can see there's no significant differences, which is hardly surprising. Now, we do have an interaction, so we want to do post-hoc test for the interaction. So it's exactly the same as before, pairwise, and then we say picture type, and then we put the line in, and then by drink. And I'll just run this so it's easy to explain what's happened. So here's my contrasts, and this is after we've had an alcoholic drink. This is the alcohol compared to the control picture. So this is doing the picture type contrasts, but that line means do them separately across the different drinks. So we've got the alcohol control, significantly different when they've consumed alcohol. However, after they consume the placebo drink, we don't see the difference in the alcohol control pictures, nor do we see it when we have the control condition either. So the effect of alcohol, and we can see by our estimated marginal means, the effect of alcohol is making them look at alcohol-related pictures for longer than the control pictures. We don't see that difference in other conditions.